everyone, it's Beverley here from Reinventing-You, and today I am joined by Claudia
Romero,
who is a busy mompreneur who juggles married life, looking after 3 children, one who has ASD, one that she describes as active ball of energy with the best and busiest social life of anyone else in her household.
Exactly.
And the third who is severely disabled and needs 24/7 attention whilst running her business. So welcome, Claudia.
Hello.
Hi there. Now,
Yeah.
I was blown away when I initially heard your story, and which is one of the reasons behind why you were invited to come on board as one of our delivery partners as part of our Reinvention Convention. And when I heard your story and you said to me that you still have time left over for yourself, I asked myself, so what's the secret? What's the secret to you staying incredibly calm and sane amidst a life of chaos in respect of all of the responsibilities that you have, and in addition to that, still running a business? So can you tell our listeners, first off, what is your key secret behind this, Claudia?
My key secret is organization. Organizations always pay off. So basically, we don't have any family around either. So that is more complicated because my husband's family lives in Canada and my family lives in Chile. So my background is business management. So I always have to deal with deadlines and be very structured in a way, not boring structure, but structure that enables me to manage all the tasks that I should do in a certain time, to be sure that they were delivered, because that impact in other people's jobs. So, and I had to manage a huge group of people as well. So for me, it was very important that I'm not like a military regiment, but the people have a window of flexibility to work, but they have to do their timelines and everything, because that impacts the rest of the people. So I applied that to my own household. And basically, because I had 3 boys under the age of 4 at one time, under the age of 3, and my youngest son born with a rare condition that requires me to be at the hospital most of the time for the first 2 years. But I really wanted to spend time with my other 2 boys as well, because it's very important, the quality, not only the quantity, but the quality of my impact in them. So I book, or I schedule my time the way that I could spend time with the 2 older ones, and also spend time with my husband, and also spend time at the hospital. So that was a little bit tricky, and I felt that I was doing too much. Although I was splitting myself in 3 or 4, it was impacting too much on myself. So I was a little bit exhausted and tired. So I decided, if I keep going like in this training or in this pattern, I'm not going to be able to be with my sons in the way that they need me. So I need to book myself at least half an hour to do something that I really like. And I learned that to, for example, go away half an hour early from the hospital to have a walk, to meditate. There are meditations, audios that are quite short, but that was enough for me to take me out of the environment that I was. So my mind was at a rest and I could function in better. So I found that if you don't give time to yourself, you start to burn out, you start to overwhelm, you start to have like many thoughts that you are not good enough with your children, you're not good enough with your work. At that moment I wasn't working because we moved here to Scotland and I was looking for a job, but then I decided to spend the time with my children and then come back to work. So I decided to, enough is enough. I need time for myself. I need half an hour is enough. And because at home I couldn't say, I'm going to the bathroom and have a bath for half an hour because boys are like, mom, mom, mom. So I knew that I had to do that outside my house. So I was alone, I was walking, I was meditating, and I find that every single thing start to work better. Wow. Because my mood and my mood wasn't racing to do things. My mood was more relaxed, and so that transferred to my sons and transferred to my husband as well. So every single thing impacted and start to be more or less better. Of course, we had to deal with the health issues of my youngest son. And when he was more stable after 2 years in and out at the hospital, I decided to start and run a business in making clothing for special needs people, because I didn't find too many clothes that suits my son. And also because I saw many of the kids that they were in his classroom wearing joggers, and I don't like him to look different to my other two boys that look smart. So I started to create a line of products for disabled and special needs people, and partnered with a friend that she's a designer. So we set up our business in 2013. So on top of all the things at the household, the health issues and the three boys doing activities at school and everything, I had my new business.
Wow. Can I just stop you there for one moment, Claudia? Because your story is absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to make sure that the listeners here are actually picking up every single golden nugget that you are sharing with us here. There's a couple of things I just want to reiterate. And that was, first of all, that what you experienced was that by taking time out, even that half an hour to yourself, helped you to do things in a much better, more effective way. And that's kind of something that I know a lot of women find difficult to do, because they feel guilty when they start to take their time out for themselves, as opposed to saying, well, you know, all of my time is expected to be given to my children, like, you know, looking after the family life, etc., blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, just, you know, being kind to yourself, generous to yourself in that half hour makes such a huge difference. It gives your brain time, doesn't it, just to slow down, allow you to think, come up with much more creative ways in doing things, and just enjoy life as well on a day-to-day basis. So then you're able to give back an awful lot more to your children. That's so important.
Yes, and actually it was because I was very grumpy, dealing with many things at the time, and that impacted the rest of the family. So you don't realize that if you don't give time for yourself without feeling guilty, you are not doing any favor to the rest of the family. You are not doing a favor to your colleagues, because you are going to be snappy and you are going to be, grumpy, moody, and irritable, even depressed. They have many moms after the other business was running, and difference of the life situations changed, so we decided to close that business.
Right.
And because always all the time since my boys were in primary school, many moms asked me, how do you manage to do every single thing, have your house not spotless, but because that is quite impossible with three boys, but very tidy, very organized, having time to go to appointments, different appointments, medical appointments, school appointments, So I was also very involved in the school with my other two. They say, how do you manage to be always positive and always cheery and have time for everything? So it's like magic. And I said, well, it's because first I put myself first. Sometimes it's not that I'm not caring for all my troop. Is that I have to care about myself to give the best of me to serve my troop. So it's like in the plane when they say, put your mask first, because if you are not breathing, you cannot help anyone else.
Absolutely.
And that is true. It's absolutely true. And because I am very organized, I always have the things in the place that it should be. I don't waste time looking for things around the house. I don't waste time tidying up, because every single thing goes to the place that it has to be when I finish using it. So there are like guidelines and rules that we follow, and it helps us. So, and also I delegate a lot. So since my boys were very young, I asked them, while I'm cooking, you can tidy up your toys, so then we can sit together to have reading a book or watching a movie or whatever. So that is essential. You don't have to do every single thing for your children. You don't have to do every single thing for your colleagues. You can delegate things at work as well. And avoiding interruptions and not procrastinating is the key as well. So when you feel that you are going to procrastinate, start to do something. Start doing something. A small action is the best thing that you can do. So I started my second business. This is the one that I'm involved with you in the coaching area of time management, and it's not time management as corporation kind of thing only, is more holistic. So you have to have time for yourself at home, time for yourself at work, put the boundaries, delegate, setting goals and planning. That is the main thing. And decluttering also take a huge part in all the wheel that I'm trying to, as a concept, not teach, but involve more women, that one part is not excluding than the other. Every single thing is linked. But when you are at work, you shouldn't be thinking in the things that you have to do at home. So the focus should be where we are at the moment. And that is one thing that I've seen many women is not in the place that they should be mentally. Yeah. So when they are at home, they are thinking, oh, I didn't send the emails to my clients, or I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And when they are working, they are thinking, oh, I forgot to send the things to the school. I forgot to go to the shopping. So they are wasting time, energy, and I don't know, all those drains are because they are overwhelmed, because they don't focus or they don't have a structure to follow.
Yeah, that's so important that you're just putting out there as some key points, Claudia, because I love your approach to finding time. You notice I didn't say time management.
Yeah, no, I don't like the time management, because that is so corporate.
That's right.
and I applied that beforehand, but now it's not time management. It's more than that. It's trying to find the time to manage all your activities in a certain kind of time, to give yourself time back to do what is most important to you, and you can enjoy life.
Yeah, that's so important. I'm going to just, come back on that point. That is so important that you enjoy life, because life is really short. It's very unpredictable. Exactly. And we don't know how long we have here. So make the most of the time that you do have. I just love the fact that your approach to finding time for yourself and to do the other things that you want to do most and the things that you enjoy doing. Obviously, spending time with your children is a very, very important part of that. you take an holistic approach to that, because sometimes we tend to focus so much in just one area or one specific aspect of finding that time, but we don't really then look at the bigger picture and how that's impacting our emotional health. And as you quite rightly have said, just taking that time out so that mentally you've got space
Exactly.
to think more strategically. You, as a result of that, just naturally are able then to start your perspective basically on how you see your time, how you utilize your time changes along the way. So let's go back to inspiration behind your second business, because I know the very first business that you initially had set up was really very much heart and soul, and then you experienced some disappointments along the way. So the time element of what you now currently do in your business has become a key driver really for not only your personal life, but also as you help women develop a better approach to how they spend quality time with themselves, quality time in their business, quality time with friends, family, etc. So tell us a little bit more about that journey of reinvention for you, because I know it couldn't have been an easy one for you to absorb emotionally as well, because you put your heart and soul into that. But then you found another niche that you obviously enjoy an awful lot.
I think basically it was because of many moms of my boys' classes starting to asking me so frequently the same question once and after time and time again. So how you manage? And I said, well, for me, it comes very easy, the organization part and keeping the things in the place that it should be. So I am basically, to be very honest, I am a really good sleeper.
Okay.
So for me, that is very important. My 7-8 hours of sleep is essential. And since very early stage, when I was like 10 or 11, for me, I did the things in an effective way to improve my timing so I can have more time to or go out with my friends or sleep. So I started to develop that. So for me, this is very important. So I need my 8 hours, how I can manage the 16 leftover hours to do my things. All the things that I have to do has to be very efficient programming to can enjoy the rest of my day. And that changed when I was like 20, in my 20s, because I want to have fun, but I had to study. So how I can study in an effective way that give me the time to get out and have fun. So I always were thinking in my own pleasure. You can say that, like, it was having fun with my friends, having my time to sleep, or now is quality time with my children and quality time for myself as well. So I like to walk and meditate. So I designate this is my hour, and I treat it like it is like an appointment with a client, and I don't move it unless I have a children that is sick or whatever. I move that things, and I always give me flexibility. So I always have time each day that I can move in case of any emergency. So that is for me the key point. And because many moms ask me how you do it and how you manage, I started to think maybe this is something that I can help others to do as well. Wow. To find the time for themselves. And I can tell you, I can give you 1 hour back each day, but I don't overpromise, because sometimes people don't want change too radically. So I always say half an hour, at least half an hour. I can give you at least half an hour. And they say, oh, that would be great to have a cup of coffee or cup of tea, quiet without anyone. But you have to, as a person, you have to be willing to change as well. Because there are many people that say, and this is the most huge barrier that I have, is, but I don't have time to do that. if you don't invest time trying to change these things in a certain way, you're never going to have time. And you'll always be overwhelmed, burnt out, and even it's really, really sad, but there is a huge amount of people that are having mental problems, depression, start to hide in alcohol, because that is the way to avoid problems. But if you don't confront your problems and don't try to change them and creation of habits, you are never going to do it. So yeah, it's not easy. You're not going to change from day one to day two. It's impossible. So small step and taking action, constant action, it will lead to having more time for yourself. And always I am, because I'm learning with my clients as well. I have learned that the first step is trying to declutter. If you declutter your space and your mind and know how the tools, how to do it, they realize that they don't have too many activities, but they overwhelm in their head. But then when they transfer in paper, they say, it wasn't so much. So the pressure start to relieve, and they start to see that that is not that bad. So, and they start to see how the time start to improve, the time scheduling start to improve.
Fantastic. And that's a little kind of an insight as to what ladies who come along to the convention will hear from you on the day. And that little secret about decluttering the mind is a key element
Exactly.
of being able to master the ability to see time in a completely different way, value the time that you have, and as a result of that, you end up just living a much more joyful, fulfilling life on a day-to-day basis as well, because you're retraining your brain how to look at things differently, and naturally things fall into pattern as a result of doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, life is too short and you never know what is coming around the corner. For us, it was, for me, first moving to a new country was a impact. But then when my youngest son born, it was life-changing completely, because doctors say that he wasn't going to live the first year. So you have to relearn many things, and you want to spend each minute with that person, because you don't know if he is going to be there next year. But now he's 11, so
Fantastic.
You have to start to bend yourself. But the most important thing is sharing and doing what is most important for you. Because if you ask, many old people or dying people say always they regret not spending time with the things that they should be doing at the time that they should be done it. Or, sorry, my English sometimes is not
That's
great.
fine, we get it.
Yeah. So
totally get it.
Is the regret that I should done this and not spending my time working and not seeing each other. So, and the other thing, after few years, my eldest son was diagnosed with autism, and that was another like slap in the face. And you had to deal with that and spend time working with that person on how to manage reactions and situations, and how to confront life and teachers and many things. That it was game changing as well, again. So basically, if you don't have time and you pack full your days with activities to do, you're not going to be able to enjoy anything.
Absolutely.
And there are also many, many, many moms that they think putting so many activities on their children is going to be beneficial. But one, you are the taxi driver all the time. Second, you can spend a fortune. And third, maybe your children doesn't want to do all of those things. So that also was me, because I wanted them to enjoy sports and everything. But at one point, I sat them in front of me and I asked, do you enjoy all these activities? And they say, not really. I want to do football and I want to do scouts. And for me, that was the ring, and say, okay, that's fine. That frees me time to me, and that they are more happy because they don't feel obliged to do something or pushed to do something that they really don't want to. It's important to have sports, and it's important to have social life. If they enjoy it, okay. But if you are struggling because you don't have the money to pay, or you're struggling because you have to drive from place to place and you don't find time, drop something. It's not that bad. They are not going to suffer that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can do other things like a family all together that are free. So
clearly your gift is helping women reclaim their time, but not just only women as well. You know, this is applicable to everyone, okay, not just for women. So our time together is almost up. And I know there's so much more that you have to share, Claudia.
Exactly. The only thing that I want to say, that mainly why I don't work with men is not because I don't want to, is because men separates more their activities. So when they are at work, they are not thinking in the house. And that I learned living with only boys. When they are doing an activity, they are not thinking in other things. They are single-minded. We have too many things in our heads. So we try to grab everything at the same time, and that is impossible. So drop it. Focus, and you will see that your time is going to improve massively.
Fantastic. And what a way to finish our interview today.
Great.
I just love it. Just drop it. You know, we hold on to things far too much, don't we? Claudia, it's been a pleasure just listening to you share your story, and also just sharing a snippet of your gift with us here today. And for ladies who are listening to this recording here, I think the important thing that we want to mention is that on the day, Claudia will be going into more detail into the things that she's just shared with us here, but also how important it is for us to actually find the time to reinvent ourselves, or our business, or our health, or our wealth. So we're taking a very holistic approach to reinvention and transformation, so that we indeed can make the most of the time that we have on this earth. Claudia, I look forward to speaking to you again shortly. I look forward to sharing the day with you on the 4th of February and hearing an awful lot more. Thank you so much.
Okay. See you. Thank you.
Then.